Really exciting news from the development team. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to some more Outriders daily gameplay and news. Right now we are about a week away from the release and we just got a ton of news and info on the preload and launch times. We also get some more details about how the full installation, the full game is going to differ from the demo and all of the changes that will carry to that, including that DirectX 12 support and a ton of other stuff as well. And the item restoration is happening today, so if you want to go ahead and check it out in game right now, you can probably do it by the time of this video going live. So let's jump right into it with all the details, and as always, if you enjoyed this at any point, it would be super awesome if you left a like on it. But let's start things with the recent maintenance. It started about like 15 minutes ago at the time of filming this video, and of course it's gonna be all about that legendary weapon restoration that we've been talking about for a while at this point. So this is going to be a one-off event for global player population, and restoration will take place on March 25th, so basically today, and will restore any legendaries lost before March 22nd. So if you happen to be in this situation, if you lost any item prior to this Monday, you're going to be able to get it, assuming of course it is of legendary quality. Only legendary weapons of course will be affected by this restoration. So what you're going to want to do is to go ahead and check out whether you lost legendary weapons, and if you have, go ahead and see if they have been restored following today's maintenance. This is going to last for about an hour, so it should be done by about 5 p.m. GMT plus 2, that is the current time zone I'm in, so in about like maybe 30 minutes from the time this video gets posted. Since we implemented our fix for this bug, we have observed a smaller number of continued reports regarding lost legendaries. We believe most of these to be down to the regularity of the game autosaving rather than a specific bug. Put simply, if you found a legendary but the game was terminated before an autosave could occur, the legendary or any other item would never have made it into your server inventory / our logs. So yeah, it's probably better to try to log out of the game when you enforced some form of saving, and I've already talked about that in previous videos. So there's two instances of this occurring: players using specific farming methods that are so fast that they prevent the game from triggering an autosave cycle before the farming run is reset. So in extreme cases, some players may go for long periods of time without even autosaving, which is about like 99% of the people who lost legendaries in the first place, since everybody's been farming. So yeah, again, maybe go back to that hub and try to force an autosave there, and then players crashing out of the game before or after they pick up a legendary, which is pretty much a bug, and it's really hard to prevent this. So there's going to be continued investigation on this issue, and they're going to try as much as possible to mitigate against that in the future. But with that in mind, here comes the exciting stuff, and of course the preload times are already here, at the very least for Xbox. So Xbox people, you can go ahead and preload the game right now as it's live starting today. PlayStation preloading will begin 48 hours in advance of the release time, and Steam, it seems that they're still determining the preload options and hope to share news about the possibility of it being next week. Epic Games Store gets the short end of the stick, unfortunately, with the preloading not being available or possible there for some reason, but this is not the only game I saw this happening with. I'm not really sure what's happening with Epic Games Store, but launch times, we also have that. So rolling midnight unlock for the consoles, Xbox and PlayStation included, will unlock at midnight on April 1st for your specific country, and for the USA this means midnight EDT April 1st, which is 21,000 PDT on March 31st. So you can go ahead and maybe convert this into your local time, but again, it's gonna be specifically to your local time anyway, and it's gonna be happening at midnight. Now for the PC and the Stadia is going to be a unified single global time, and the platform will release on April 1st at 5 p.m. British summertime or 9 a.m. PDT. These platforms can only release at a single time globally, and this is due to how their stores are being set up. if you want to check it out all and make it like super easy, they even set up a really awesome timer right here, which right now says 7 days, 1 hour and like 41 minutes and a bit over there. So this is pretty awesome. Now unfortunately this means that if you play on Steam, which I would assume is most people, then you're getting this a little bit later compared to the consoles, which are getting it like, depending on the time zone, but it should be around like 10-12 hours if I'm calculating correctly in advance to that. So maybe consoles, if you want to play earlier, might be your thing instead. But nonetheless, just 7 more days. I'm already excited for it and I cannot wait to play the damn game. But with that in mind, let's talk about what's gonna change between the demo and the full launch, because we have a list of things right here and there's a few highlights that I do want to go over. So lots of demo content bug fixes, including for example mods on some legendary weapons not triggering properly. It's gonna be one of the fixes. They've also made balancing changes for various items, mods, enemy stats and loot drops. So balancing is an ongoing process and we have learned much from internal playtests, the insiders preview and the demo over the previous months. However, we're sure that we will continue to learn more from the launch of the main game and the feedback provided by you, our community, so keep it coming. Crossplay will also no longer be in beta and will be on by default when you start your games, so PC players will be able to add cross-platform players that they have previously played with, and like for example if you have friends for example in your friends list, and consoles will receive this functionality through a future patch. Please know that if you turn crossplay off manually, you will not be able to automatically matchmake with people who still have it turned on, and check this out, even if you are on the same platform. So direct inviting should still work in that situation. But the all-awaited upgrade to DirectX 12, or should I say switch, because this was turned off by default in the demo, but DirectX 12 will be on by default on the PC version of the game, which means way better and smoother frame rates per second, like at least a 50% gain, at least in my case, and especially noticeable in hubs where it tends to drop frame rates quite a lot. They've also added a quick mark functionality to your inventory. This will allow you to mass mark all items based on their rarity in 1 or 2 button presses, rather than needing to mark items individually, which is still possible if preferred. So this is in response to one of the requests from a few days ago where people found themselves with a ton of items and it took too long to go ahead and mark them for deletion or for selling. So this is going to help quite a bit with that. They've also made improvements to the cover system, to travel voting system used when in group, and they've added information about internal cooldown mechanics for mods, and yeah, this is gonna be added to their descriptions so they can better read them. This is of course on top of their other intentions to like the changes that they're planning to make, including for the PC cutscenes, to have an option from 30 to 60, 90 and 120 FPS, which is currently only locked to 30, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5 cutscenes locked to 60, and on the old gen, especially like the default consoles, is gonna be still locked on the 30 FPS, and there's a few more in there, adjustments, crossplay, fixes and all of that. So if you want to read it, you're gonna have it all in the links down below. Now the one thing that I forgot to mention is the Hell's Ranger pack, which is basically your pre-order bonus. So the Hell's Ranger content will become available via your stash for anyone who owns it. This means that even if you progress through the story without it, you will not miss out on acquiring it in-game. Please note that this gear is level locked to level 10, so you will need to meet its requirements, achieving level 10 or playing on a certain level boosting world tiers before you are able to use it, which makes a lot of sense. So it's gonna help us quite a little bit over there in the early stages, but it's likely going to drop off quickly once you get into like mid 15 or 20, and especially so 20 plus, but it remains to be seen if that's going to pan out like that. Now on a final note, we also have a little bit on the cheating and the hacking that's been happening around the first few days of the demo, and yeah, we finally have like a full-on statement on how they're going to do this. So since demo launch, this has been a hotly debated topic, so we wanted to provide some perspective on it as well. So at the time when we reached around 2 million players, we identified 200 players who had clearly cheated. In percentage terms, that's around 0.01%. We can see you all, yes, even the person who gave themselves 600 100 legendary weapons, which is absolutely insane. As a mage, we trust that this percentage will not grow by much as we move through and beyond launch. But below are the steps we'll take to ensure that legit players will not have their fun spoiled as a result of cheaters. So here are the repercussions. Repercussions are account-wide, not character-specific, which is pretty big. You will not be able to matchmake with legit players. Matchmaking will likely take significantly longer, since now you can only matchmake with other cheaters. You will still be able to play solo. In future, your HUD will have a discrete but visible watermark placed on it, so that gameplay footage created on this account can be readily identified as coming from a flagged account, which sounds pretty serious, especially if you're a content creator. All accounts will be checked for evidence of cheat use on launch day, April 1st, and then at regular intervals thereafter. Now, fortunately enough, there is a way to escape this, and they recognized that there were indeed players in the demo who gave themselves legendaries just to try it out to see how it is. And yes, if you are in one of those situations, you can avoid getting your account permanently branded as a cheater by simply deleting all characters and all items on your entire account in order to wipe the slate clean. You should not carry over any progress between demo and main game if you previously cheated, but do not plan to do so in the main game, which I believe is pretty reasonable given the fact that there was some pretty heavy cheating involved. And yeah, this is pretty much it. Now, if you want to read more extensively what is considered cheating in the full game, you can go ahead and check it out. It's gonna be pretty much the same stuff that's gonna be considered cheating in the demo as well. So I would say that this is beyond reasonable. But this is it with the recent news and information. Of course, really exciting stuff. We're getting closer and closer to the release. So obviously, man's really exciting for that. But this is it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.